Hi, I'm David Veech, and this is Elevate Your Performance. Now, I've been focusing these past couple of months on the historical activities that got manufacturing and business really where we are today. I've been focused on Toyota lately because of the impact that they've had on bringing improved methods to our attention. I mean, after all, they're the poster child for lean. When I first started teaching TPS and lean, I read everything I could get my hands on about Toyota and lean manufacturing. And I learned a ton, but I wasn't always diligent about keeping track of what source said what thing. So the delays I'm experiencing this month are all related to research. I've been rereading those older works, primarily in an effort to validate the truth of what I've been teaching. Sadly, I've also validated that some points I'm making in the courses I teach are wrong historically, so I want to correct those. These would be details like lifetime employment contracts in Japan. Now, I was taught once upon a time, again, I was remiss in keeping track of the source, that Japanese companies were ordered to provide lifetime employment contracts to their employees as a result of labor disputes and the protests in 1950. This week, after reaching AG Toyota's 50 years in motion and Taiichi Ohno's Toyota production system and a scholarly research article on Japan's lifetime employment, here's what seems to really have happened. So back in December 1948, the occupation government, known as SCAP for Supreme Command Allied Powers in Japan, imposed austerity measures to bring inflation under control in Japan. The biggest piece of these measures was known as the Dodge Line, named after Joseph Dodge, who was chairman of the Detroit Bank, who served as a special ambassador and financial advisor to SCAP. Now, these measures fixed prices on certain products, like trucks and passenger cars, but not on others, like raw materials. Now, many Japanese customers suffered as they lost jobs or their profits vaporized. Their inability to collect installment payments for vehicles they'd already sold drove Toyota Motor Company and many others to the brink of bankruptcy. And that required them to secure significant loans that came with very strict conditions on the operations of the company. As the economy grew more volatile, the union movement in Japan flourished. Now, initially, this was encouraged by SCAP until they learned that the largest union was really backed by the Communist Party. Now, to meet regulatory requirements and really to financially survive, Toyota was ordered to reduce its labor force, which was already relatively small compared to their pre-war staffing, by 1,600 people. Now, Toyota offered early retirement buyouts, but they were also forced to reduce wages across the board by 10%. As a result, Toyota president Kiichiro Toyota resigned from the company, accepting responsibility for all the turmoil. Now, the same thing was happening in other companies as well, and the labor unions just kind of exploded with strikes and protests and often got pretty violent. The most violent labor disputes in Japanese history took place between 1949 and 1954, and it involved major companies like Toshiba, Hitachi, Toyota, and Nissan. The working days lost in 1952 alone reached an unprecedented 15 million days, involving 1.6 million employees. Now, lifetime employment was never mandated by the state, but as a longtime Japanese philosophy that employers embraced, this was a goal that most large companies held very dear. Japanese workers, accustomed to this, were particularly devastated when the staff cuts were required by the economics of the Japanese market, pushing them into the streets to protest. Now, according to Ono, a key goal Kiichiro shared with Toyota leadership was that Toyota needed to catch up with the productive capability, if not the volume, of U.S. passenger car manufacturers within 3 years of the end of the war. Now, in 1950, IG went to the U.S. to study the automotive industry. When he returned, he said he was asked, "How long until we catch up with Ford?" He answered that Ford wasn't doing anything that they didn't already know about, but it's very difficult to say how long it will take, especially when you consider Toyota's passenger car output at that time was a mere 40 vehicles per month. Ford was making over 8,000. So next up, we'll touch on the birth of the quality movement and how Toyota was able to respond to the 1973 oil crisis, which is the event that actually made people start studying Toyota and what they were doing. So have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Don't forget to subscribe. Have a great day. Bye.